All right, I'm going to show you a little video. Remember, before we bring in Brandon Tatum, I'm going to show you a little video. It's a video of a shooting in New York City. I understand a lot of you watch with your kids. Kids are watching right now. Don't worry. There's nothing graphic in this video. It's nothing bad, but just watch.
He's the shooter?
Yeah.
And who's the vet? The guy that guy.
He's not a nurse. I thought he was a nurse.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Not a
So where's he running?
He ran inside.
You ran towards us, isn't it?
You didn't even know.
Joining me now, my friend Brandon Tatum. He's, of course, former police officer, author of the book Beaten, Black and Blue. Brandon, I mean, it's not exactly something brand new that New York has some crazy stories. But, man, it's every day now. Some woman's getting chucked in front of the subway. People are marching into the hospitals and gunning people down. How much worse can it possibly get there?
Well, if they don't change their rhetoric and they don't start supporting police officers like they should, they're going to see more and more people being emboldened to commit more heinous crimes. And also, if they don't change the foolery associated with bail reform and allowing these criminals to get out, people that should be locked away for a very long time, they are going to see more of an increase. So it's policing that they need to address, supporting their police officers, funding their police officers, building the morale of their police departments, and then also holding people accountable when they do commit crimes. Those are the only solutions that's going to work for them and to mitigate some of these crimes that are being committed.
Brandon, can you unpack for me bail reform? The word gets thrown around a lot, but I do think there are some people who don't understand what it actually is. What is this bail reform they talk about?
So some politicians and activists believe that bail, when you go to jail, you're not necessarily not sentenced yet, but you go to jail and they allow you to be bailed out. And some people can, they'll say $200,000. You only got to pay 10% of 10% of that, and you'll be let out. So they think that it's biased towards minorities and people of color and the disenfranchised individuals who can't afford to be bailed out. And they have this whole ideology surrounding that. And so what they try to do is say, okay, we're going to eliminate bail for certain crimes so people who are low income can afford to have a fair chance at getting out and not be sitting in jail and rotting until their initial appearance for sentencing or conviction. And so they use that. It backfires because some of these criminals, it doesn't matter what kind of money they make. They are hardened criminals that have committed heinous crimes or they are intending to commit crimes that are greater than the ones that they're being charged with. And that's causing a residual effect of greater crimes being committed, more criminals on the street, and heinous stuff like pushing people in front of a train and pulling a gun and shooting a person in a lobby. All of those things are residual effects of not holding individuals accountable.
Brandon, obviously I understand I'm asking you to put yourself in someone else's shoes and someone else's mind, but clearly these policies like bail reform do not work. You're turning violent criminals loose, and surprise, surprise, career violent criminals are committing more violence. Do you think these people are sitting back now and wondering, maybe I should change my ways? Bail reform is a bad idea?
Well, I believe they knew it was a bad idea, Jesse, from the very beginning. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you that these people who commit crimes are opportunistic, and a lot of times they live a life of crime. This is not just a one-off. They should be held accountable, and if they're not, they will come and be present in court and get no bail 15, 16 times. I've seen it as a police officer. There's people who had 1,000 arrests. How in the world are you still on the streets and you've been arrested 1,000 times? So they know better than what they're doing. The trick is that they want to fool the public into believing that they're so virtuous and that these black people or people of color are downtrodden. And if you only gave them opportunities where they wouldn't be locked away in jail, they'll somehow miraculously change their lives. And it makes you emotional enough to vote for them because you believe them that the politicians are compassionate. And most people want to be compassionate. But the reality is that it has nothing to do with compassion. It has everything to do with manipulating you for a vote. And once it all hits the fan, you know what? They are the ones that have the solution to fix the problem they created. And it's a cycle of getting you to vote for them and them staying in office indefinitely.
Gosh, that's terrible. All right, Brandon, I have this actor, dirtball Michael Rappaport. I have a question. I wanted to play this video for you. You've probably seen it. And then I have a question.
Yo,
I'm looking at this this dude, this motherfucker. Yo, this dude is, I can't believe I'm seeing this. This motherfucker. Yo, this guy just filled his 2 bags up with everything in Rite Aid right here on 80th and 1st Avenue. He's walking down the street like is Gucci. Look at me in my face like what's good. I was watching him the whole time. My man just went Christmas shopping in January.
Brandon, my question is this. Michael Rappaport votes for every single politician who supports those things. He rails against Republicans every chance he gets. Do you think there's ever a moment, like right then, do you think Michael Rappaport thinks, maybe this is my fault?
Well, I don't think at all he thinks it's his fault, but I think he's waking up to realize that the people that he's been voting for are not doing what they said they were going to do. And none of the things that he believes, the fallacies that he have been convinced to believe are actually true. He was one of the main ones telling people to wear 5 and 6 masks and literally berating people for not wearing a mask. And he catches COVID and it's like music to my ears. Now he's awakened. Now he believes in these policies and racism in America, and we need better policies for black and brown people who are, that need help from society and all this other stuff. He's the biggest advocate. He will cuss you out if you disagree with him. And now look at him. Front row seat to the craziest show on earth, watching the very thing that Republicans and conservatives are talking about. He get a front row seat to it. And I'm hoping that after being exposed to these things with COVID and now, the bail reform issue and also the defund the police issue where you see criminals running rampant, that he wake up to the things that he's saying and the things that he's doing and people he's voting for.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.